Hello and welcome to Forgotten Frights. I'm Josh and I'm sitting here with Adam.
Hey, how's it going?
And today on the podcast we are going to be reviewing the 1971 horror film The House That Dripped Blood, directed by Peter Duffell, written by Robert Bloch, and starring Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, and Denholm Elliott, and Ingrid Pitt. Here's the trailer.
This house is full of sounds. The loudest is your heart pounding in the night. The softest is the sound of terror. In this house, terror waits for you in every room. Where are they? Vampires, voodoo, vixens, and victims. You'll find them all in the house that dripped blood.
All right, Adam, there was the terrifying trailer to The House That Dripped Blood. What did you think?
I liked the very end where it was like voodoo, vixens, and what was the other? Velour?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was, he was trying to say these are all the things that are in the movie. But was,
Vampires,
I think added
voodoo,
a few things. A Frankenstein.
Velcro. Velma?
I love any trailer that ends with the echoing voice. I think
Blood, 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 blood,
yeah. Because Soylent Green in that trailer, if you remember, was Soylent Green.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
And this one was like the house that dripped blood. Always a delight. Now, I also find it curious that the trailer showed the ending of all the vignettes. So it showed each story and the ending, which is for like Amicus Productions and for these anthology films. It's like the end of the story is what you're holding out for.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the one with the werewolf? We reviewed here on the podcast. It had a zombie hand with Christopher Lee.
Well, the zombie hand's been in a lot of these.
This
the one where
art.
the artist gets his hand.
Yeah. What was the name of that film?
There was a werewolf in that one?
Yeah, the first segment was the guy who was in the house and he knocked a hole in the wall and there was a tomb.
Yeah, was that one? That wasn't Asylum. It was. We haven't done that many of these.
No, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
The Other House That Dripped Blood.
What was that called? Tales That Witness Madness? Was it that one?
No, I don't even think that's a movie.
No, I think it is.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, it's very clunky.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So today on the podcast, we are going to be reviewing another one of these Amicus films. We had done previously another Amicus film, Dr. Terror's House of Horror.
Yes.
With Peter Cushing.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have The House That Dripped Blood. So it's following in this a tradition from Amicus, which is to produce these anthologies.
Yeah.
So they must have been very popular and cheap to make, I think, is what we've talked about before. So, yeah, I don't know.
I tend to think that maybe if you think about watching this movie trailer back when the movie was made, you don't really know when one movie or when one segment's ending and another one's beginning. So realistically, I mean, we know that they showed all the endings, but when you're watching the trailer, you're like, wow, there's mummies and vampires and ghouls all over in this movie.
It's a lot more exciting. The trailer is.
Yeah.
But I think this is an interesting film nonetheless. It's a film by Amicus Productions. It's also produced by Milton Subotsky.
Yeah.
Who has done quite a bit. He directed Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, Tales from the Crypt, The Vault of Horror, and Madhouse.
Yeah, Subotsky's all over these.
He is. And then, so along with some ones I didn't realize that we haven't but should cover, so this includes The Monster Club, which I saw a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sometimes They Come Back. Have you ever seen that film?
I don't know if I've ever actually seen it.
It's very, very good. But so Sometimes They Come Back, if you've never seen it, I think is a great Stephen King adaptation.
All right.
One we could do. It's about a high school English teacher, so that's kind of fun.
Sure. Yeah.
But there's like ghosts. It's about a guy who he had some students, or no, he loses his brother to some like local toughs at like a train yard, or due to an oncoming train, I guess. And then years later, he's a high school English teacher, and some of his students start to disappear, and they're being replaced by those local toughs from when he was a kid.
It was set in the 50s as kids?
When he was a kid, yeah. And then it goes forward, so it's like 1970 something.
Okay. Yeah.
So then he's got this classroom, and some of his kids are dying, and they're being replaced by the ghosts of the kids who killed his brother.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I think it's...
like they're being replaced by like the T-Birds from Greece?
Yeah, they have like leather
Nice.
jackets. Yeah,
Nice.
it's they walk in and hit a jukebox.
Nice.
Yeah. And then another one, Cat's Eye.
Oh, yeah.
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 Which Milton Sawatsky apparently was a part of. So
And a throwback to these movies. I
really
mean,
just kind of carried through
Yeah.
nearly modern times. But
Yeah.
so this is, I would say, very similar to Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. And I've seen Tales from the Crypt and I've seen The Vault of Horrors. And I know they are, for me, pretty good movies.
Yeah.
I just feel like Amicus was kind of on shaky ground with what they were doing with the anthologies exactly. Like Dr. Terror's, we were laughing quite a bit just because there were some inconsistencies in that movie.
Sure, yeah.
And that the stories weren't, I don't know, it wasn't like their A game. They were kind of like, is this going to work?
That was the one with the plant that ate. Yeah, it was very, it looks so cheap.
Where the doctor looked at the leaf and was like, just as I suspected.
It's a vampire.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
This one is penned by Robert Bloch. Thoughts?
I don't. The most I know about Robert Bloch is that he wrote Psycho.
Yeah.
So
that's like his claim to fame.
Yeah, I feel like anytime anything's by Robert Bloch, I'm just like, oh yeah, that guy.
No, Psycho. Yeah.
Yep.
He wrote some pretty fantastic short stories. One of which was in a collection called My Favorite Short Story. I don't know if you ever read that. Stephen King is one of the contributors to that. He does a short little piece, and I believe the story that he recommends is Sweets to the Sweet by Robert Bloch, which appears as a segment in this film.
Yeah.
It's different in the book, and we can talk about it when we get to that section. But that short story is a little bit different. And then oddly enough, there was another short story in there, and I forget who, maybe Philip K. Dick. It was about pod people.
Okay.
And like pod people in some kid's backyard, and I was like, it's like very strange that it was like, okay, so it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers maybe before that.
Right.
But so the only other thing I wanted to say with, I guess just talking like overall thoughts of this film, but also like Robert Bloch. So Robert Bloch seems like he has this like obsession with people are something else. People aren't revealing their true selves.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with Psycho.
Sure. Yeah,
right? He's like, I'm my mom. I think that's the famous quote from the movie. He says, I'm my mom.
I taxidermied my mom.
But in a lot of these stories, and if you'd like, we can talk about it as we discuss them, but it seems like everybody's kind of like somebody that they're not, I guess. It just seems like he's really interested in this idea of like, gotcha. Like it turns out I'm this guy, you know, or it turns out. Are
all of his short stories like that?
No, because Sweets to the Sweet it's just kind of like a revenge story.
Yeah.
And I think there's a little bit more of the, I don't know, maybe anger towards the father in this one that I don't really recall from the short story as much, but maybe that's what it's all about, and I'm just misremembering.
Well, maybe they were all, you know, as far as the screenplay went, maybe they all had to just be like, you know, they had to be written that way so that it's just like, boo, at the end, you know.
And I gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm my mom.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Every story.
You're a werewolf.
You're a leaf.
I have, then I just have one thing I want to say about the plot of the movie overall. Do you want me to wait?
You talking about like the through line?
Just kind of... Yes, because I don't want to paint this as like my issue with the film, But like one thing I don't understand that's kind of a Dr. Terror is House of Horrors.
Oh, please.
Do you want to talk about it now or do you want to wait?
No. I appreciate it because there were some things that you gleaned from that movie that I was like, oh, that's a very good point.
So I just
like, are they actually dead? Like,
right.
yeah.
So for this one, the house made him do it.
Yeah, I think so.
So the house made a vampire who then lived for many years. And then the house made him sell his cloak.
Well, what did the Stoker guy kept saying? Like the house chooses you, or it's the right personality for the house.
Okay.
And that guy, yeah, I don't know if we should. So chronologically,
right.
Eventually, who is it, the real estate agent?
Yeah, Stoker. Yeah, is like AJ Stoker. Or something.
And he's very much like he's like almost. Literally winking at the camera all the time, like I know what's going on.
I said he was very like Hitchcockian character,
sort of, yeah,
because even at
almost
exactly,
almost a Paul Heyman.
Okay,
Kind of reminded me of that too.
Yeah, at the very end of the film, he
put a guy through a table
after he had done that. He like comes on the screen and he's just like, "Are you gonna buy this house?" And it's like,
yep. I mean, well, so I think the trailer actually did a better job in the short time because it's like each room of this house tells a different like whatever blood curdling story. I can get behind that more than I think the house was just a loose like it didn't really drip blood per se.
Yeah, because it's kind of like so, and I think if we consider like Madhouse, like. Maybe there was just like an obsession in the 70s with being like, oh yeah, evil houses.
Haunted houses.
But let's just not like...
Yeah.
But we're not going to make those like front and center.
Maybe what happened was, haunted houses were like big in the 50s and 60s. And maybe in the 70s, it became more like a psychological fear. And less about the ghost and more about the evil that man commits.
Oh, I like that.
Maybe.
But it's also odd in the trailer that it's like in every room in the house there's evil. It's like, well, I mean, there's segments where Christopher Lee's walking through every room.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, what does the kitchen look like? Yeah. And he just walks in there. Would you like the taglines?
Yes.
The first one, vampires, voodoo, vixens, victims.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah. I think that's the one that works the best, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, the horror classic for the first time on DVD, and then in parentheses, DVD release.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then, there's 2 more. Terror, in all caps, waits for you in every room in the house that dripped blood.
It's not bad. It's not true, but it's not bad.
It's definitely not true. The last one is from the author of Psycho.
Okay.
Robert
I wonder
Bloch
if, like, on his deathbed, was he just like, shut up about Psycho?
I know he switched his opinion on a few things as far as like at Gain and stuff like that, as far as inspiration for Psycho. Yeah, Robert Bloch, even with Psycho, I think he there was an interview early on, I think after the book came out, and they were kind of like, oh yeah, so you were really inspired by Ed Gein. And he's like, I didn't hear anything about that. What is that called when 2 things happen at once?
Coincidence
with parallel thought. Like, it's just kind of like, okay, this thing's in the zeitgeist, but I also was like, I created something as well. But then years later, he was like, oh yeah, I mean, like, everybody had heard of Ed Gein and like this thing he did out in the Midwest. So I think he was a little bit more open to it.
Yeah.
Kind of like the I am not Spock and then I am Spock.
Yeah.
Right. Like
yes.
I think it just happens. Eventually you embrace it and you do that. But who knows? Maybe on his deathbed he was like, if I have to hear about I'm my mom one more time,
I'm going to stab someone to death in the shower.
And let me put my wig on first. Okay, so getting into this film, are you ready to dig in?
I'm ready.
All right. So it's 4 horror short stories. They are. I mean, they revolve around a mysterious rental house in the UK. So the introduction of the story is the framework, the framing device of the movie itself, and this involves an Detective Inspector Holloway. A.J. Stoker, who is a real estate agent. And then there's another guy, John Malcolm, who's a sergeant. But mostly it's just between this inspector and the real estate agent, A.J. Stoker.
Now, Stoker wasn't in the first couple of stories, correct?
I thought they didn't he show up like right in the beginning and he's like, hello.
See, I don't.
Welcome to the house that dripped blood.
I was trying to piece that together, and I think Holloway is talking to his sergeant for the first story and a half.
Oh, okay.
Or couple of stories, and then he's like, "You should go see Stoker," and then
he.
But
pops up.
Stoker seems like such a big character in the movie that
I just seem to remember.
But
So the first story does start with he's on the case because a recent actor had died, and so he's investigating his murder.
He disappeared.
He disappears.
Paul Henderson.
Yes, Paul Henderson, the last story.
Yes, yep.
So he disappears.
He's the last person to rent the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then through that, the detective is like, okay, like now I have to. Well, he starts getting people are telling him the history of the house.
Like, oh, you're looking for this guy? You want to hear a scary story?
Yes. And he's like, tell me 3 scary stories.
I won't believe you until you tell me 4 scary stories.
And then I want my reward of $1,000 for hearing all 4. It starts with the first segment. Once we get through that, I don't think I'm missing anything. It's in England. He's of Scotland Yard, which I thought was kind of interesting. That maybe that's just going to be a very English thing that we run into all the time. Is just Scotland Yard.
Yeah.
So he visits the local police stations. Mine says that he questions the real estate agent, A.J. Stoker. So maybe I just dropped that in there and I was mistaken. Yeah. But I do have that Stoker explains, or somebody does at least, that Henderson was the latest tenant of the notorious house that dripped blood.
Yeah.
And the previous residents suffered bizarre tragedies. And then we move into our first segment. Now, do you think, Stoker is an allusion to Bram Stoker, right?
I mean, using the name is kind of on the nose.
Yeah, and like vampires.
Yeah. I want to also say that regardless of what happened within the framework of the movie, it doesn't really matter.
No.
What we said about the guy being told 4 scary stories, that's all that matters in the framework.
It's inconsequential, too.
Yeah. I will say that, and I hate
as much as the train was in Dr. Terror's House of Horrors.
But I will say, though, that framework was more entertaining. In fact,
yes, I think so too.
I would say that the framework of Dr. Terror's House of Horrors was more entertaining than the stories that they were told.
Oh, you don't think it's entertaining to have a real estate agent talking to a detective and he's like, yeah, so here's one story that involves this. Like, that's not as entertaining as like...
It really isn't. You'd think so. On paper, it's like, ooh.
Peter Cushing, like dressed as a homeless man reading tarot cards on a train. Yeah, I don't know that they could have definitely picked a better framing device for these stories.
Yeah.
But... yeah, I guess we'll wait till the end.
When's the last time it was painted, though? Oh, well, actually, it was painted like 5 years ago, but there were real bad mouse infestation. Tell me a scary story.
I almost wonder if you could do something like a newspaper or something, and it goes from article to article, or somebody who's like a journalist who's going around, because it's really just
like Kolchak.
Yeah, but like then you get his stories.
Yeah.
Because this is really just like, it's a guy smoking a cigarette leaning against a desk and some guy's like, so anyway, and it's just like, that's not like, your movie, the motivation for the film should not rely on just somebody just like, check this out while I talk to you.
Right. Ooh, I heard this really scary one. Yeah.
The first segment is, let me get the name of it, Method for Murder. Mm-hmm. And, it has a great intro because it says that guy's like, a young couple moved into the house. And then you see like middle-aged people pull up in a convertible.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, how's it going? It's like,
I didn't catch the young couple.
He's like, a young couple. And they're definitely like, well on their way. He is Charles Hillier, and he is a... I looked up a few things. One of them, it was kind of just mean. It was just like a flailing novelist or like a schlocky novelist, like Jeez. Not. But he writes violent crime stories, and they kind of the real estate agent what is his name again?
Stoker. Yeah.
He's like showing him around the house. And they're kind of, this is the exposition.
Well, maybe that's why we thought he was in the framework,
because he was like,
because he's in the
look
story.
At this young couple.
Yeah, because the sergeant telling the story at the station is like, oh, you got to get a load of this Stoker guy. I'm going to include him in the movie or the story. Yeah.
He's like, check out my AARP card. I'm ready to move in. So while looking through the house, the novelist Charles Hillier, he finds like the library collection. It seems like his girlfriend.
I think it's wife.
She's like, I'm kind of disgusted by the house because it's old and it's run down. And so when she comes in the room and finds him in the library, he's like, "This is the house. We got to do it.
This is perfect.
This is inspiration."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Really? Like, okay."
Yeah. She's like, "This is like a dusty old spook place," and
Yeah.
he's like, "I love it."
Yes,
because I'm a scary writer. Yeah.
He's like, "This house that drips blood is great for my ideas."
Yeah.
So smash cut to there. He's busy typing. I think there was something in there about how he has like writer's block and he hasn't written anything productive in a while. So he wants to use this house as kind of the conduit for his writing. And then we cut to he's typing away and it's like it's working out for him. And his wife comes to see him, Alice. And she's, she's excited because he's working quite a bit. And he's like, "Let me show you my muse." And he like opens his desk drawer and there's like an illustrated picture of this creep.
Yeah, he like drew this picture.
Yeah, and he's like, "Look at him. His name's Dominic." And it's like a creepy dude.
Yeah.
And he's like, he strangles people when they least suspect it.
Yeah.
And he laughs about it.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay, as long as you're writing."
Yeah. Yeah. Then he just puts the picture in a drawer.
Yes,
yeah.
It's just kind of like it's a sheet of paper that I found. It like fits the drawer perfectly.
Well, didn't he draw it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I just think it's interesting. Like,
and then he put
no sheet of paper ever fits a drawer perfectly.
And he put it in a drawer that only contains that picture.
Yeah, like
he's a writer and he's just like,
absolutely
no, empty drawers.
Every drawer I own has just like 5 different things in it.
A paper clip.
Like, "Hey, this is my Dominic drawer."
Yeah.
But Dominic is like a creepy looking dude, and I think pretty quickly he starts to see Dominic in the real world.
Yeah, just like peeking through a window.
Yeah, and that's some creepy stuff. There's like actually like some creepy shots of him like in the woods.
Yeah.
A lot of stormy nights. This movie does a good job with like the atmosphere and mood.
This one, I really like the atmosphere.
Yeah,
like him like typing away at night, and it's dark out. It's got like that very gothic, 60s 70s look. Yeah,
and what also looks cool is the house that dripped blood itself. I think they do a pretty good job of setting that up.
Yeah,
it also reminded me of House.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
When he's William Catt, when he's kind of typing away.
Yeah.
Those are good, like, moody, I don't know, good moody shots.
Yeah.
Good moments.
I like how House leads into a much better movie, House 2.
You mentioned that. I still call that.
Agree to disagree.
So he's typing away, and he starts seeing Dominic, and it's not just, like, outside his window, but he, like, I think the next day he's walking through town, and I think he sees him or thinks he sees him across, like, a river.
Yeah, he sees him, like, in the wilderness. He'll see him, like, in the windows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, so he's getting unwell, and I think the final time, Dominic's, like, sitting in a chair in the room, and he calls his wife, Alice, Charles does. And he's like, "There's Dominic. He's in the room." And like when she looks, there's nobody in the chair. And then she's like, "Well, there's nobody here." And he's like, "Well, that's because he just moved across the room over there." And then like, but we as the audience, we're seeing Dominic, and he's like behind like a bookshelf being creepy.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "You have to go get help. Like, go see a therapist." So he goes, and his therapist is more or less, like, "Oh, you're too wrapped up in this, and you have like split personality." If I'm going too fast, just
no, yeah, for sure.
But you have like split personality, so you cannot write about Dominic. I don't know what conclusion they come to, but it's like, you have to separate yourself from this book.
Yeah. This isn't reality.
This isn't reality. And then he's like, "Okay," and he goes home and he's like, "Well, I got to finish this book about Dominic." And so he continues writing about it. There's still like another moment where Dominic appears again. He almost chokes his wife, I think.
I think that he takes the picture of Dominic, he tears it up.
Yeah.
And I don't think he lights it on fire, but I think he throws it in the river, and then he sees Dominic across the way.
Yeah.
Like kind of by a tree, and he picks up the picture.
Oh, okay.
And then he kind of does that smile at him, and it scares him.
Yeah.
And yes, then there's a night where she's going to make him some warm milk or something. I'm sorry. Alice is going to make Charles some warm milk because he's bugging. And she's in the kitchen and she screams. Charles comes into the kitchen. He says, what's going on? And she's like, you bastard, you tried to choke me. You tried to strangle me. And so then now Charles is believing that he's the one who's actually doing these violent things. So then he goes back to the
psychiatrist, and while he's there, Dominic shows up and strangles the psychiatrist
to death.
Yeah. And then Charles is like, no. And then it like cuts to black. I think that's verbatim.
That's exactly what he did.
It cuts to black, and then we go to Alice, who's at the house, and Dominic shows up there. And he like walks across the dining room or whatever, the living room.
Well, we don't see what happens with Charles.
No, it just fades to black.
Yeah.
And then he goes up to her, and then they like start smooching.
Yeah.
And then it turns out
Dominic.
He like pulls out fake teeth and pulls off a wig, and he's like, "It was me, your lover, the whole time." And she was like, "Haha, we got him."
Yep.
And then she gets a phone call right then and there that Charles is dead, and she goes like, "I didn't want you to kill him, I just wanted you to, just so we can say he's crazy and you and I can go move on with our lives or whatever." And then she's like, Dominic's not real. And then he's like, "Oh no, what's his name? His name's like,
I forget,
Robert or something,
Thomas or something." But yeah, then the reveal is that he thinks he's Dominic.
Yes, because she says like, I think his name's like Robert or something. She's like, "Robert, like this is unusual. This is like, or this is horrible." And he's like, "Robert? There's no Robert. There's only Dominic."
Yeah.
And then he starts strangling her
and doing the laugh thing.
And then he's like doing the laugh thing.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to Stoker, and he's like, "See, I told you, the house is scary." And then Detective Holloway's like, "Okay, how does this help me solve my case?"
Right.
He's like, "But I got 2 more for you.
I have to go."
Yeah.
I do. There's some shots in this story where they'll like Charles will see Dominic across the way somewhere, and then they'll do like a close up on Dominic, and he's like, "Who, me?" Like he does like this face. Like it's
very it's like that Witchfinder General where Vincent Price is up on the hill and it zooms in on him, and he's like, "I'm a stinker."
Yep. I'm a bad little boy.
So in that, there is a framework between there. I'm looking right here. Oh, that's Sweets to the Sweet. So yeah, there's another. We cut back to, and I don't want to blow past it, but more or less, he's like, "There's another story to tell."
Right.
More death in the house.
You
of
think
Drip
that's
Blood. And
scary?
Like,
check this
yeah.
out.
So we cut to the next segment, which is called Waxworks. Now, the first segment, too, before we move on, I wanted to say is in Black Sabbath, I think one of the first segments, and I forget because there's like an Italian version and an American version, and their segments are out of order. But one of their segments in there is it's a little similar. It's like a dial M for murder type thing. I don't know if you recall that one, but
I would have to go back.
There's like a guy who's
calling
a lady,
a girl, with the phone. Yeah.
And then it turns out he's like actually in the house or something, and then she's actually not dead. I don't remember the whole thing. But
Me neither.
Seems like,
I remember that vaguely. Yes.
People were really, really afraid of that in the 70s. I think. It turns out.
Yeah.
They were there the whole time, or they're wearing Dominic costumes. Waxwork stars Peter Cushing as Philip Grayson, Joss Ackland as Neville Rogers, Wolf Morris as the Waxworks proprietor, who's like Von something. Did you get his name?
Theo.
Oh no, that's not him. I'm sorry. That's the last segment. This one is just the owner of the Waxworks.
Oh, you're right. I don't know. Yeah.
That's okay. We'll say he is Waxworks owner.
Yeah.
This one starts with.
I don't know if he had a name.
I don't remember.
I think he was just a proprietor of the shop.
They do try. They make efforts to name people in this. He's like, I'm A.J. Stoker.
Right.
And he's like, I'm Charles Hillier.
Yep.
Like
Stoker.
Yes, I'm first and last name. So Cushing is he's seeking a peaceful retirement, and then he ends up going to a local wax museum and seeing the figure of a woman who is quite gorgeous.
Yeah, and he's like a retired banker or something.
Yeah.
And he dresses like Mr. Furley from Three's Company.
Yes, he does.
That's great.
He does. He's this is one of those, I was gonna say with Christopher Lee as well, but this is like I think it's a good Peter Cushing performance.
It's great.
Because he's not. It's just very like middling. It's not too outrageous. It's just very like. I don't know. I feel, especially the end of this segment, he gives a lot of like, that Cushing energy pops up, and he's just like manic and crazy. He sees a statue of a woman that he once loved, or it's a resemblance of a woman that he once loved.
Yes.
And he was like, this statue is amazing. And he...
the proprietor kind of comes over his shoulder, and he's like, she's beautiful, isn't she?
Yeah. And so he finds himself, he's like visiting the wax museum to see her. More often.
The proprietor says, you will be back to see her. And he said, no, I shouldn't. Like, he pulls himself away.
Yes, because then, Neville shows up because he knocks on the door and he's
an
like,
old friend of
it's
his.
me.
Yep.
And then they're hanging out, but then he too recognizes the wax
so
statue?
they must have a shared relationship with an old acquaintance. Yes.
Okay, so the both men were romantically involved with her years earlier.
So Neville comes to Philip's home, and they talk, and they're like, oh, we should go out and do something around the town, whatever. And as they get into the town, Neville's like, oh, a waxworks. I haven't been in one of those since I was a boy. And Philip was like, no, we shouldn't do that. And sure enough, they go in, and Philip's very trepidatious. I think just because the statue's in there, and then they find the statue, and Neville is completely taken with the statue as well.
Yes, and I think that's where they're both like, hey, we're both romantically involved with this person. Yeah. What was up with wax museums back then?
It must have been a thing, man.
It must have been.
I think we missed out.
Went to wax museums.
I think we missed out on waxworks and drive-ins.
Yes,
like drive-ins apparently were everywhere.
Yeah. There's still one in Michigan.
I guess there's a couple, but I'd love to. I would go to one all the time. I think it'd be cool. Yeah. Waxworks, I don't know.
I don't think the wax museum is very interesting to me because it's so synonymous with just the other one, the most famous one. What am I thinking of?
House of Wax.
Yeah, but there's like somebody's name is attached to it, like Lady Curie's House of Wax, Madame.
Oh, Madame Tussauds.
Yes, House of Wax.
Yeah.
And with that, there comes like I don't know, like a Madame Tussauds is like sounds 1970s creepy to me.
It does. It sounds like a Scooby-Doo film.
It does.
I will say though, Madame Tussauds is supposed to be like, top of the line, like they look like real people. I would much rather go to one in like, rural Alabama where it's like they tried really hard, but it's just.
Well, that's my next point is like, so if they are local wax museums, so are they like, look at our like wax sculpture of Elvis, and it's just like. It just looks like Grizzly Adams.
Yeah.
It's just like so poorly done.
This is Hall of Fame baseball player Reggie Jackson, and it looks like Alf. It's just like, you did a bad job, guys.
That's why they closed down. You did a bad job, guys. This is horrible. So through that... okay, yeah, so I was sorry... I was thinking there's like a really like psychedelic section here where like Christopher Lee is like has a dream or goes to the wax museum.
Peter Cushing?
Peter Cushing.
Okay.
He has like where he's like reaching out to touch the figure, and I think Neville's gone at this point.
I can't remember if. Okay, so I do remember the dream portion, and I think Neville had already said that he's going to head out. He's going to go back to Paris or wherever.
Yeah.
And so maybe that night is when Philip Peter Cushing has his dream, and yes, it is It is kind of psychedelic. It's not quite Dunwich horror, but it's psychedelic.
Yeah, not that psychedelic, but maybe psychedelic's the wrong word too. It's very
Ethereal.
Yeah, there's a lot of like smoke and fog, and he's wearing like it's almost like a tan bomber's jacket that you see like an older guy. He just looks like an older dad. I don't know. And he's like, beautiful wax.
I had one of those for a minute.
I have one in my basement. I got no problems with them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking up this. So, with Neville tries to leave town but is unable to abandon the sculpture. Staying at a local motel, he calls Grayson and informs him of his predicament. When Grayson arrives, he finds Neville has left for the wax museum. Grayson goes to the museum and finds Neville's severed head has been added to an exhibit.
To the exhibit.
The exhibit,
yes,
yep.
yeah.
And so that's
lady
when,
has his head on a silver platter.
And that's when the wax museum proprietor, the owner, he comes out with an axe and he's like, Neville didn't get ahead in life.
Oh boy.
And now you won't make the hat show or whatever and starts to attack him. I think his the revelation being she loved somebody or was having an affair. And I think he says it as much as that he says like she didn't love me but was carried away with someone else. Like, you figure it out.
Right. I didn't really
okay.
I didn't really understand. From what I could gather, they both had a relationship with a woman who looked like this wax figure, and they both kind of went mad.
And so then he starts attacking Peter Cushing with the axe. I think pretty great moment of them kind of darting around and him swinging the axe. Peter Cushing freaking out. And then as Amicus loves, Peter Cushing like trips and falls down and then flips over and is like, oh, as the camera zooms in on his face.
Yeah.
And then we get a zoom. It cuts to the wax figurine of the girl and then pans down and it's Peter Cushing's head.
Yeah, a young man comes into the waxworks and he's kind of looking around and everything, and then he goes and sees the woman, and then it's the Peter Cushing's head. The thing that I think is kind of funny about that whole thing is like the proprietor is just like, well, whoop-de-doo with the guy with Neville's head. He's just like, well, don't eat his, Like he just replaces heads nonstop.
The Peter Cushing wax head looks like what you would expect to see at the Alabama
Wax Museum. That's the one I want to go to.
Yes. It's like, it kind of looks like Peter Cushing.
It could be a lot of things.
It also looked like somebody my dad knew. I don't know.
Could be Lyndon B. Johnson.
It could be. We don't know. We really don't. Is that Caesar?
Is that the guy from The Dime? Is he on The Dime? I don't know.
We then go back to the framing device, the story. Holloway asks if Henderson moved in next and is told that there was one other tenant. So he's like, hey, so when do we get to...
Can we speed this up?
Let's move along. Stoker tells Holloway that he tried to warn them that or warn them of the secret of the house. Holloway ignores this, and then he's like, all right, tell me the story. He's like, I was going to anyway. And then we get Sweets to the Sweet, which stars Christopher Lee as John Reed, Nyree Dawn Porter as Ann Norton. I'm reading this in a way that's not productive. Chloe Franks as Jane Reed, Hugh Manning as Mark, and Carlton Hobbs as Dr. Bailey. I don't remember that many characters being in this, but
I remember the top three.
So Christopher Lee moves into the house that drips blood with his daughter.
Yes,
and he has sought out a nanny as well to help him. I guess what would ostensibly be a governess of the time. So she takes care of her and does her studies, that sort of thing. But immediately it's pretty clear that he's kind of like a disciplinarian and is very, very hard on her.
Yeah, he has very strict rules about what Anne can teach.
Yes.
Or bring, expose Jane to, basically. But it is interesting that Ann Norton comes in for the interview to be the nanny. She goes into a room with Jane, and they have a discussion about how Jane's afraid of fire. The little girl's afraid of fire. And Anne actually coaxes Jane over to the fire, and they sit by the fire, and she kind of like just solves that problem immediately. And Christopher Lee is very much like, man, I still don't know. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, she's pretty good. I mean,
Also, I don't know, the good sense of the governess to be like, afraid of fire, huh? Check this out.
come over to the fire.
Check out this match I've got. But yeah, Christopher Lee is very clearly, it just almost maybe like he doesn't even like his daughter, but is very, very hard on her. And then is also doesn't want her to leave the house. They're kind of secluded. I guess the house that dripped blood is secluded sometimes too, and sometimes it's right next to a city.
Yeah,
if
right
a
next to
writer
a
needs
waxworks.
yeah, I know. And then sometimes not. But in this vignette, it's secluded because he's like, I have to hide my daughter away. And then so she starts spending more time with Jane. That would be Anne Norton.
Yeah.
Anne starts spending more time with Jane and getting to know her. And then she kind of discovers that there's something going on with the mom.
Yeah.
And the mom passed away.
Yeah.
And then she has a conversation with Christopher Lee. And it's like, oh, I would like to take her out and, do this or that. And he's like, we can't do that. She's not allowed.
She can't play with other kids. She
Yep.
can't have dolls.
Yep. I want to talk about that because regardless, there was something going on with the mom, and it just becomes very clear that maybe because of that is why he treats his daughter and is very protective because he lost his wife. But then she's like, well, can I buy her some toys? That's like the stipulation. I will refrain from taking her out and doing all that if I can buy her some toys. And he's kind of like, oh, okay, that's fine. And she shows up and she's got dolls, or a doll and some other things, and she's playing with it. Christopher Lee comes in the room and is like, what is this? And like grabs the doll and is like, she cannot have this, and throws it in the fire. And then we as the audience watch it like burn. Did he say like no dolls?
Originally?
Yeah.
I can't remember if he said it originally, but I think it was.
I thought it was like, she's like, can I buy her some toys? Yeah. And he's like, yes. What are the odds she's going to buy her a doll?
He wouldn't buy a doll
for a little girl.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
But he immediately like explodes, like, how dare you buy this doll for this little girl?
Yeah.
And they burn it on the fire, or at least he does.
He slaps his daughter in the face.
Yeah, then, eventually, she's like, oh, because of the candles.
Yeah.
There's like some candles go missing. The power runs out one night, or the power goes out one night. And then he goes to find the candles, and he's like, holy moly, there's only 3 in here, and there's supposed to be 6. And he's like, where are the other candles? And he goes, and he finds his daughter who's at the top of the stairs after him and Anne have been running around the house. And he's like, where are the other candles? And she doesn't respond, and he smacks her in the face. So then we get to where, does she have the doll at this point? Because he starts getting stabbing pains.
And she's more or less used the Jane, the little girl, has used these candles to melt them down to make a voodoo doll.
Yeah.
So yes, she's been kind of like already poking this guy.
Yes, because he starts getting like, oh, I've got.
Oh, that's where the doctor comes in.
Yes.
He's like, you're fine.
Yeah, you're okay.
Stop
He's
being
like,
a baby.
It feels like a child is stabbing a voodoo doll with a giant sewing needle. It hurts. But they kind of get through that, and then I don't remember what's happening between there, because all I remember is Christopher Lee's laying in bed, and he's just again like, I feel like someone's stabbing me. It's very like quick to that. And we get to where Anne is trying to tell Jane, hey, put down that doll, because the doll is just like a wax voodoo doll, I guess.
Yeah.
But the other thing is they found like a book that confirmed that her mother may have been into witchcraft, and then that's something related to why. I don't know if I don't think Christopher Lee murdered her, but it seemed like there was something with the mom and witchcraft, and that he was worried that the daughter also was going to be into witchcraft.
I think that's the main thrust was basically that he was afraid of his daughter because he was afraid that his daughter was going to be a witch.
Yes, like her mother was my assumption.
Yeah.
Now, if it's not, I feel like that probably should have been the case. Right. He's like, that's why I bludgeoned her with a brick.
Right.
So then Anne's trying to get the doll from Jane, and then she takes it, and much like Christopher Lee did with her doll, she throws the wax doll in the fire.
Yeah.
And then you hear Christopher Lee upstairs just like, ah!
Yeah.
Now, Sweets to the Sweet, the short story by Robert Bloch. Let me see if I can get is very similar. There seems to be, where are you? Similar thing where there's like a patronizing father who's mean to his daughter, but it ends a little bit differently. Let me see. So it Sweets to the Sweet. A housekeeper encourages a lawyer to look into how his brother, her former employer, treats his 6-year-old daughter. She tells him about signs of abuse she's seen and how his brother claims his daughter is a witch. When the lawyer goes to investigate, he finds there may be more truth to the statement than he initially believed in this horror classic with a fantastic grisly ending. Now, if I remember right, the ending of that story is that she has made cookies in the shape of her father, and as he stomps upstairs to go to bed, she bites the head off the cookie.
That makes a lot more sense about the whole Sweets for the Sweet.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this one is just kind of like, which part is sweet?
Right. Yep.
He's like, he's got a Werther's Original in his cheek while she's stabbing the doll with a sewing needle.
Yeah, and they even kept the name of the story.
Yeah, which
makes
weird.
No sense.
Yeah, it should be like, Witch Daughter.
In color.
I Am My Mother by Robert Bloch. Okay, so then we cut back to the interstitial. And yeah, I guess with, whoa, I just noticed you've got a Vertigo poster back there.
Yeah.
That is sick.
Yeah.
When did you get that?
Years ago.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was new. It's like up on an easel. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, we cut. This movie is not different from the other movies we've covered where you've got like the little interstitial thing. Mm-hmm. Because we've talked about this before. It's like it cuts back to the train where Christopher Lee's complaining about something.
Yeah.
This one really is just cutting back to a room where A.J. Stoker's like, oh, what do you think about that one? Pretty scary, huh? And then the detective is just like, okay, so I am investigating a murder. Like, please, just tell me. I'm begging you.
Time is of the essence.
We need to find him.
Life hangs in the balance.
But I've got more stories.
But listen to the spooky one.
My family stopped listening to me talk.
I swear, this is the spookiest one. I mean, also it'll help.
It'll help.
Please be my friend.
So then we get to our last story, which is called The Cloak. He finally is like, okay, so here is... I don't remember if he's like, yes, I know what happened to him. Here's the story. Is that what it comes down to?
I think he was just very cagey about it. Like, I don't know if his personality, he went with the house very well.
Holloway dismisses this story, the one Sweets to the Sweet, as the most ridiculous so far, and demands the estate agent tell him about Henderson. Will you please tell me? Stoker clarifies that he warned Henderson not to take it, not believing it would be, quote, right for his personality, but states that he gave in once Henderson insisted. He then tells his final story, which I assume he was like, Henderson, do not buy this house. And he's like, but I need it for acting. And he said, all right, well, you can buy the house. Yeah. You insisted. So this one is, I think, the best segment without, I guess, spoiling anything for the end. I think this is...
you like this one the best?
Jon Pertwee as Paul Henderson, I think is fantastic. I think he's so good in this role. Yep.
I know him from something else.
I don't. Yeah, and I was I'm not familiar with him because I thought I would like Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing in this one. But they are very just Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like watching Vincent Price. They do their job. But this guy is animated. He's like he's into what's going on.
Are you aware of his he was, I think, the third or fourth Doctor for Doctor Who?
Yeah, so I'd read something about that. And there was actually there's something, we can get to it later. So we have Jon Pertwee as Paul Henderson, Ingrid Pitt as Carla Lind, Jeffrey Balden as Theo von Hartmann, and then we have Jonathan Lynn as Mr. Petrick. So... for this story, we have like I want to say like an aging actor because it doesn't seem like he's like I guess normally if we say aging actor, it's like a Vincent Price thing where it's like, oh, he's like,
Yeah.
they're just giving him like.
It's an old horror actor, and he's.
But it seems like he's doing fine
Yeah.
in movies. He's very demanding.
Yep.
And he's very. He goes to see the attire. He's on the set of a new film. He just moved into the house that drips blood or dripped blood. It no longer drips.
I think it's currently dripping blood.
House that is dripping blood.
Yep.
And he goes on the set of the movie, and he's like immediately he sees the costume and set, and he's like, this sucks.
Yeah, the sets suck.
Yep.
He has nothing good to say about anybody.
And then so he goes right from there. He goes to go buy.
Well, they offer him a cape for his portrayal of a vampire, and he's like, I'm not wearing that crap. And then he goes to the antique shop.
Which also, this is the second Amicus film that we've watched that the last section is about a vampire. Because the other one is with Donald Sutherland as the doctor investigating the vampire.
Oh, yeah.
And they both also end with bad flying.
Yeah, the bats.
Yeah, the bats in this one has two people on wires. But he ends up going to a costume shop, it appears to be, and where he meets a Theo von Hartmann, who is kind of a strange old man. Mm-hmm. And Paul Henderson tells him, I'm looking for a cloak. And he's like, really? You want this one? And he's like, yes, I'll take that off your hand. And
Takes
like,
it out of a coffin.
Yeah. He's like, let me go open this coffin and
Right.
give this to you. And he's like, okay, thank you. And then he leaves. It's at that point, I think there's a scene or two of them filming the whatever the horror movie is. And eventually
he puts the cloak.
Does he put the cloak on first?
He puts the cloak on in his dressing room, and he notices that his image is no longer visible in the mirror.
Yes.
And then he takes it off, and he's like, he can see himself.
Which then they go to film him, and they can see him just fine.
But they're not shooting through a mirror.
But wouldn't it be like this? Isn't there something optical that like flips it? Isn't that kind of how that works?
I think they could too. I mean, I think you're
it?
right.
Is
but,
it?
Yeah.
Because it'd like be like with a camera, right? Isn't that like?
Yeah,
the
no,
same
I think
idea?
you're absolutely right. But I mean, this is what are you talking about?
I mean, I
I'm
guess.
talking about Scooby Doo. Like,
fair enough.
Yeah, you got to walk by a mirror and be like, huh? That's all. That's the only way it works.
So Paul sees that when he wears the cloak, no reflection,
Yeah.
and then they go to film like, "Hey, Paul, hey, just quick question: when I point the camera in your direction, I can't see you.
Yeah, just reeky garlic lines.
Is there a reason why you're nibbling on me while I'm trying to get you in frame?"
Speaking of that, he has a scene with Carla, his
Yes,
girlfriend, and he, as the vampire, he's supposed to like bite her neck, and he bites her neck.
Yeah, he
really
bites her.
does.
He does. And then he that evening he starts like the witching hour is upon them, and he gains the ability to fly, and he starts like whoa, like flying around the room.
And clearly, it's only when he has the cloak on.
And it's only when he has the cloak on.
Yeah.
So then he realizes, he and then he gets a newspaper to read to his girlfriend. After he apologizes to her, because she's like really mad that he bit her neck.
Yeah.
And so he like makes her dinner, does all this stuff, and then he talks about the costume shop burned down, and in the basement they found the corpse of an old man in a coffin.
Yeah.
Which I don't fully understand.
Oh, you don't?
Well, he was a vampire.
Yeah, he was like done.
But why did the place burn down? So he just
He
burned it down?
Yeah, he could finally die.
Wow.
I don't even think he was a
That's
vampire
why he
anymore.
went out?
Yeah, I don't think he was a vampire anymore. I think he was just like, he's probably so old that he was just like, I just want to be released from this mortal coil.
That's so.
But he was like, it is grim,
Yeah,
but
it is.
also like when Henderson left with the cloak, he was like, oh, goody.
Yes, he was.
I can finally die.
I read in this news article that they found an old man's body with a shotgun blast to the head. Like it was just that. Like that's so violent. It's so crazy. Because then I was trying to figure out, I'm like, did people break in and like burn it down, and then they accidentally found? Some of these movies work in this way.
Well,
where
it's
they
an
want
Amicus movie, so it was probably like a gang of werewolves.
Yes, absolutely. And a zombie hand was their leader.
And I was going to say Frankenstein was the boss, but yeah.
Well, Christopher Lee probably made. So,
Best Frankenstein ever.
best Frankenstein. Oh yeah, there is something with. He says, Paul Henderson complaining on the set. He says, That's what's wrong with the present-day horror films. There's no realism, not like the old ones, the great ones. Frankenstein, Phantom of the Opera, Dracula. The one with Bela Lugosi, of course, not this new fellow.
It was a yes.
A veiled jab.
It was a cheeky jab at Christopher Lee.
At Christopher Lee, because he's the new.
Yes.
And Christopher Lee was, I'm sure, on set.
I don't know, with these movies or with these segments, the way they're filmed.
Oh, there's no way he's on set. I'm merely in jest. I'm sure he was waiting around for the segments to finish. He's like, wow, nice cheeky jab.
I do like the scene. I'm going back a little bit. I like the scene where Paul Henderson is like, he's just pissy about everything on set, and he like takes his umbrella and he starts like poking a hole through the wall.
That's what I think makes it so
and
interesting.
the director's like, we just painted that.
He was just kind of, for lack of better words, he's just being a little shit.
He really
yeah,
is. Yeah.
So the segment ends with he's trying to convince his girlfriend, hey, this cape makes you a Dracula, and we have to get rid of it.
And she's like, well, then do it. And he's trying
Prove
and he can't.
And he can't. So he puts on the cape and he can't. It's not doing anything. And then she reveals she had a second cape.
Well, no, it's the cape, but she has it hidden under a pillow. The funny thing is that she just throws a pillow and there's the cloak. It's like, that's his.
She covered it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then she put it on, and then he starts freaking out and he like runs up the stairs. He's like, no, you'll be a vampire. And then she turns into a vampire and then flies at him from across
Slowly
the room.
floats up.
Yes. It's a very odd angle when she flies toward the camera.
Yeah.
And then the segment ends and AJ Stoker's like, see? The guy you're looking for was an actor who got bit by his girlfriend who took his cloak. And he's like,
I was told all of this.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, just go look in the basement of the house. And so the detective's like, okay. And he goes to the house that is still dripping blood.
Yep.
Finds a sick candelabra.
Lights the largest candelabra I've ever
like,
seen.
Like 9 candles on it.
Yeah.
And then he goes rooting around the house, and he's like going lower. I kind of like this because he's going lower, and you're following him through the house. I'm not like from behind or anything, but it's just kind of like he's going through sets. It's kind of neat.
It is very reminiscent of the old intro of Tales from the Crypt.
Yes,
HBO.
as it's going down. Because then as he's going down, you're also getting like, it's getting more crypt-like.
Yes.
So the last door, he's got to bust some locks and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so then he goes into a room, and there's a coffin with Paul Henderson inside. Mm-hmm. And he sits up, and he's got fangs, and he's a Dracula. Mm-hmm. And then he scares the Detective Holloway, who falls back, lands on a stool that breaks apart. Terrible stool placement for a Dracula. Don't put anything wood in that room.
Paul Henderson essentially just jumps onto a stake.
That's really what he does. He jumps across the room on him, and then Detective Holloway picks the stake up and just he lands on it.
Yeah, like Holloway picks the stake up, is looking at it like, oh, it's a stake, and he just lands chest first on the stake.
He didn't even get to the point where he's like, I need to use this to stab. He's like, oh, this is a stake. And then the Dracula land on him from...
I know what I'll do. Even before any of that
A body flew from the stage right and just landed on top of him. He's like, oh, okay. And then the Paul Henderson's girlfriend rises.
Carla comes out of the casket. And
then she too flies at him, but this time he doesn't pull a stake, which...
Well, she turns into the worst bat effect ever, and she kind of flops
again,
over.
Amicus ending with the same hey, remember that bat? Let's get that again.
Yeah.
People loved it.
Yep.
And then that's the end.
And then Stoker's outside the house, and he's just like, maybe you'll live here.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
You're the right personality for the house that dripped blood, will be dripping blood, has dripped blood.
If you look to the left, here's a huge city. If you look to the right, it's very secluded. You'll love it.
Yeah, this is either secluded or not. We don't know.
Right behind me is a waxworks. It's great. It's got everything.
In one direction, you need a car. The other one, just walk over there. Okay, anything you wanted to add to this film as far as summarizing it, talking about what went down? We're going to take a break and do some trivia. So is there anything you wanted to add?
I got nothing else.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we will do a 5-question trivia in which I will ask Adam some questions about the film to give a deeper knowledge and some trivia and facts about how this film was made and the goings-on of the house that dripped blood. And then I have kind of a newer segment toward the end of me reading things at you, and then
right.
we can talk about some gaffes and then close it out.
All right.
All right. Hello and welcome back to Forgotten Frights. I'm Josh. I'm sitting here with Adam.
Hey.
And we are about to do a 5-question true or false trivia game about the 1971 horror anthology, The House That Dripped Blood. Adam, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Question number 1. Peter Cushing could not be at his wife's side when she died as he was filming this movie.
Well, I really hope that's a false.
It is false, luckily.
Good.
Peter Cushing tried to get out of his contract so that he was not away from his sick wife, Helen, but he had to carry on. Helen Cushing died in January of 1971, a month or so before the film was released. Jeez. So that tells me, so either he was on the set and doing stuff, or the film released later. I mean, obviously, it released later and they were already done, so yeah. I can't imagine he was like waiting around with Paul Henderson.
No.
Oh, God. Question number 2. Vincent Price was offered the role of Paul Henderson, but passed due to contractual obligations with AIP.
Was AIP the one that you really didn't like working for? I'm going to say false.
It is actually true. So he was offered the role, but he passed on it. AIP was the
what a giant. I mean, it's already a great cast, but could you imagine Vincent Price in there too?
And I think it would have been perfect.
Oh yeah,
he would have been a perfect.
But honestly, I think Jon Pertwee was good though.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
I could just see like Vincent Price stabbing an umbrella in the wall though, like just being like annoyed, being like pestering people.
Yeah. Being a complete diva.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
3. There is not a single drop of blood in this film. True or false?
I think that's true.
The answer is true. There's no blood in this movie, despite the gruesome subject matter and the fact that it's called The House That Dripped Blood.
Yeah.
4. Christopher Lee can be seen reading his favorite book in the film, The Chronicles of Narnia.
True?
It's false. He can be seen reading his favorite book, but it's not The Chronicles of Narnia.
What's his favorite book?
The Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Really?
Yeah, it really is.
That's cool.
Yes, because he's talked about meeting Tolkien before.
What an awesome fact. That's
pretty
so cool.
Pretty great. And it was oddly enough, it was in the first scene. He's just in the background somewhere. Not really.
full Saruman garb.
One day.
No dolls. Must be the toughest one.
No, I think I copied and pasted it in the wrong spot. Well, I can't find it. So there's 4 questions.
So 2 for 2.
So you're 2 for 2. So we will call that even, and I guess I'll see how I do on the next one, and then we will just those 2 games will go head to head.
Okay.
Okay. So good job, Adam.
Thank you.
Now I have the goofs and gaffs section. Would you like to hear some goofs and gaffs on The House That Dripped Blood?
I'll take some goofs and gaffs.
All right. So Detective Holloway is supposed to be going to the house during the night at the end of the movie, but it's clearly day when he arrives.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So some inconsistencies there. The next one is black wires are clearly visible above Carla as she rises up to the second floor to bite Paul after she becomes a vampire. And then wires are also seen when Paul is levitating.
See, for me, it's like with that stuff,
I don't,
especially that the era that it's made. I don't.
Yeah,
it does not even.
I think more so. I wanted to bring that up because in case I ever catch this film again, I'm just gonna be looking for wires and just like on a second pass.
Yeah.
And then last one, when Paul, now a vampire, is killed with a stake, it's not even near his heart. Come on,
directly in his crotch.
Come on.
Ow!
He does make some really great vampire faces. He's got some really...
When he finds out he has vampire teeth, he's like feeling his mouth. Like, yeah.
He's very animated.
Yeah.
Now, Adam, before we give our likes and dislikes of the film, I just kind of had, I guess, a newer segment where I would grab viewers' likes and dislikes, or reviewers' likes and dislikes of the film. So I went to IMDb and I pulled a 1-star review, a 5-star review, and a 10-star review. And then I kind of figured I can read them and we could just talk about what their thoughts, and then we can just kind of segue right into our own likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
And we're doing good on time. So, what I found is as we've gotten better at just managing the format of this, our episodes have gotten a little bit shorter. So I'm trying to find, if you have any other ideas for segments, let me know.
I like the IMDb thing because we could, you could do one for your movie and I could do one for mine. So yeah,
fair. Yep. Yeah. I just did them both for these two movies.
Yeah,
I just pulled but yeah, if you want to from now on, if you want to, when you do a movie, if you want to pull like a 1 and a 5 and a 10.
Yep.
So I'm going to start with, how do you want to do this? Do you want to start with a 10 out of 10 and then go like a gradient scale down to 1?
Choice. You whatever you want to do.
So I'll just start. I have it as the 1 out of 10, and then the 5 out of 10, and then the 10 out of 10. So this is from Baba Booey, 1 out of 10.
And then, let's just add on to it too. Like we'll kind of decide where we lie.
Yeah, like 1, 5, 10, something like that.
Which reviewer makes the most sense for, And his name is Baba Booey.
And his name's Baba
Booey.
So the title of the review is Boring. I only made it to the 18-minute mark. I just can't continue.
Was it written by Holloway?
Baba Booey. I can only listen to Howard Stern. My attention will only... Okay, he says, boring. I only made it to the 18-minute mark. I just can't continue. Boring all the way. Music sucks. Cinematography is boring. Sets are boring. Acting and dialogue sucks. The story sucks. I just cannot sit through this nonsense. And then it's F, 1 star, period, failure. Like he got tired at the end of the review and like
what? So it was graded F.
Yeah, F, 1 star, failure.
Okay,
I felt like for a minute he like slapped the keyboard with his hand.
Hat on a hat on a hat. Did you tell me when that was when that review was written? Do you know?
No, I should look those up.
Yeah.
I believe that was 2005.
Okay, all right.
I didn't want to find anything too recent, but it's still
that's so much to say about something that you don't
think
like. That's from even at that time.
It says
40
music
years
sucks.
Before.
I don't even remember the music. I do not remember the music at all.
It's probably a bunch of like organ music.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I think what is that? Exotica, the stuff that appears in. I think that's the genre of music and like. I
think we talked about this.
Yeah. What is that? What's the Haunted Palace?
Yeah,
all that music is like
like theremins and yeah.
That's like Exotica.
Yeah.
The 5 out of 10 review is from The Movie Cat. Title, that's what's wrong with your present-day horror films, ... There's no realism.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. Probably the least successful of the Amicus products up to and possibly including 1973's The Vault of Horror. A very languid production sees 3 segments unfold without any real sense of urgency. Stars like Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee not doing their best work in a film that's less than their worth. What really throws the film is the 4th segment, dovetailing into the framing story, with Jon Pertwee hamming it up as a comedy vampire. Most of the Amicus anthologies struggle today with uneven tone and intent, but none more so than here. Although quite amusing, complete with in-joke references to Christopher Lee not being a very good Dracula, it flies at total odds with what's come before. Suddenly, a very straight, somber, dare I say slightly boring, film climaxes with what amounts to little more than a send-up. The final segment probably works the best, but undermines what really amounts to just a so-so movie. Interestingly, these Amicus pictures were often getting mixed up in the minds of audiences with the far better known and established Hammer pictures, particularly as stars from Hammer appeared, as here in Amicus films. This was compounded in 1987 when the BBC made a documentary on Hammer Productions, alluding to the title of this film by calling it The Studio That Dripped Blood. Yeah, I thought a little bit kind of interesting in there just to make the comparison between Amicus and Hammer.
Yeah.
And that, I guess, what I didn't understand too, like in the film they make the jab with Christopher Lee, I guess it hadn't crossed my mind that I'm like, oh, he's doing like... he's not Vincent Price where he's beholden to AIP. Like AIP just had Vincent Price apparently in a stranglehold of a contract. Like, hey, do you want to be in another movie? And AIP's like, no, he's not going to be.
He said some pretty mean things.
He did. Yeah, I don't remember what he called them, but it was like, it was real bad. It was bad.
Real bad.
But yeah, I think kind of interesting that Christopher Lee is, is Dracula at this time and known as Dracula, and then it's still appearing as like, just a angry dad, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like though, I think speaking to that guy's review, it's like I don't think Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee or anybody even nowadays contemporary movie stars per se need to be doing the best work of their career in every single movie. Like I like the thought of an anthology movie being made and these horror movie icons of the time saying, yeah, I'll be in this movie. And, I don't need to have top billing. I don't need to be the main monster or bad guy. It's like, just if I read on a movie poster that Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing and all these people are going to be in the movie, it's going to make me want to watch the movie.
Right.
Yeah,
which makes me think, and that's really interesting you say too, that like it doesn't have to be the best performance of the career. I think that's perfect, right? Because it's what makes Tales from the Crypt, the 90s version, so interesting is you can see Joe Pesci, obviously not doing his best work, but just being like...
He's in it,
and it's great, and it's a great segment, and he's still a good enough actor, what's interesting to watch. It's just like watching...
It's a half hour of schlock.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
exactly what you're watching it for.
Peter Cushing darting around as somebody chases him with a battle axe, perfect. I couldn't ask for anything better.
Amicus and Hammer both are studios that if I'm going to watch a Hammer or an Amicus movie, I know exactly what I'm going to get.
Absolutely.
I'm probably not going to be disappointed.
Except for Dr. Terrors. I was completely unprepared for that. All right, last one is 10 out of 10. Title with Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Denholm Elliott, and Ingrid Pitt. Hubba hubba. What's not to like? Given how corny these movies are, you got to figure that they must have had fun making them. The movie focuses on a house that strangely accommodates whomever lives there. The inhabitants were author Charles Hillier, who gets haunted by one of his own creations, Philip Grayson, who gets a little too close to a wax statue, John Reed, whose daughter's cuteness is apparently a facade, and actor Paul Henderson, on the verge of getting a little too much into character. The House That Dripped Blood is actually worth seeing. Well, duh, it stars Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. I think that's more to your point, Adam. Aside from just being neat, there might be some undertones. It might be calling into question the issue of real horror versus assumed horror. Like in The Shining, we might ask whether the house hotel itself holds some memory of past events. And if absolutely nothing else, Ingrid Pitt, as Paul's co-star, is hot. Around the time that this came out, she also starred in Countess Dracula and The Vampire Lovers with Peter Cushing. Maybe she, like Barbara Steele, will remain known only as a scream queen, but mark my words, she is a hot scream queen. I'd like to see Ingrid Pitt and Barbara Steele co-star in something.
I'm sure he would.
I don't know when this review was written, but he's still waiting on it.
The rest of it's just about Ingrid Pitt.
They're both 95 years old. He's like, finally they're starring in something. I guess that
the fanfic story called Pit of Lust.
He wrote it, of course. I guess that the only weird scene, so to speak, is where Denholm Elliott is wearing a pink shirt and fluffy jacket. You read that right. What kind of name is Denholm anyway? Oh well, a very cool movie. 10 out of 10. I think more so with this one is just the names, the attraction of, you see the names, you got that star power, and then people who are hot.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the 10 out of 10 guy, not so much for the nonstop Ingrid Pitt glazing, but no, I appreciate the fact that it's just it's a campy horror movie that you don't have to think too much about.
Also talked about The Shining, which I think we talked a lot about The Shining the last couple of films. So.
I forget the name of the movie, but I
just wanted to make sure it got in there a little bit more.
Bigfoot Hotel.
Yeah, Bigfoot Hotel. Stephen King in the basement.
Stephen King's Bigfoot Hotel.
So Adam, last part is likes and dislikes. What did you like and what did you dislike about the film?
I liked the stories. I think the first one was actually my favorite. I did like the one with Denholm Elliott as the writer. And I think it had some very nice atmosphere. The other stories were fine. And then the interstitial was probably the lamest part. It's like like I said, the Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, at least he's pulling tarot cards and everybody's kind of like invested in what Dr. Terror's doing. But I will say, Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, they're kind of the same thing. It's just a bunch of people sitting around a stony area, and the guy's now here's the scary. I can't wait.
Yeah.
But
Vault of Horror even more so is like, now for the next story. Like, why do we even have the framing device?
The guy who's got him there is like, why are you here?
Yeah.
It's like, wait.
I think there's a lot of that where they get up and they're like, hey, you're keeping us here for too long. And he's like, but I've got 3 more stories.
Sit down and listen.
It's very Peter Cushing.
I like this movie. For all those reasons. Just it's a campy. The last segments got a lot of good humor in it.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, actually, oddly enough, I think
and I love the music.
The sets are great. The music is great. I like this movie. I think it's far superior to Dr. Terror's House of Horror. The biggest issue I have is with, and probably with a lot of the Amicus, because I do like some of the Tales from the Crypt and the Vault of Horrors. But if we really get down to it and we really look at the segments even from those 2 films, they kind of are just like, I don't know. They seem like they're very inconsistent with quality of the story, which I could see as being difficult for anthologies. But when you've got Robert Bloch, I can't put it all on, even though he wrote the film, or at least the segments, I can't put it all on him to be like, well, this, these didn't work because yada, yada, yada. Because I have to imagine that Amicus had some hand in what stories and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's just kind of the inconsistency. Like the first one with Dominic, I think is good. Sweets to the Sweet, I think it's just poor execution, and it's kind of a boring story. It's just them walking around a house. And then the Waxwork one, I think, is good at the end, but you kind of see everything that's coming, and that one just works because Peter Cushing is fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of an uneven film. But when it really hits, I think it's got the good atmosphere. Like it's got that when he's out there typing and it's like a rainstorm outside.
Yep.
Perfect. Like that's what I want. Black Sabbath all the time.
Yep.
And I'm not allowed to get it. I won't get it. But that kind of
not allowed.
I'm not allowed. They won't allow me. You know what I'm talking about? Like the level of effort put into Black Sabbath. Everything looks crazy in that movie. You feel insane.
Yeah. Their use of like it's Italian, and their use of like color saturation.
Yes, and like
fog, there's scenes that are like
smoke.
purple and red. And
the Haunted Palace is like that has great like where they show up, just that Corman idea, like everything's foggy and moody when it needs to be.
Yeah.
And I think this film has some shades of that. When like Peter Cushing, when he's in that foggy area, maybe it's just fog. Maybe I like fog. But Peter Cushing in that kind of like weird. I say psychedelic, but we say more like a ethereal dream sequence. That stuff hits. Like that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then you just have flat, dry parts where Christopher Lee's like, no dolls allowed.
And I think that those middle segments with Cushing and Lee are the weakest ones.
Yeah.
But I like watching them because they're in them.
That's it. Yeah, it's just seeing their faces. So that's all I got. Adam, is there anything that you wanted to add to The House That Dripped Blood, 1971?
No, I guess the only other thing is I wish they would have made a companion movie called The House That Absolutely Has No Blood, and it's the bloodiest movie ever.
Actually, that way I could ask the trivia question: how much blood was in the house that
gallons?
never? The sequel should be The House That's Continuing to Drip Blood.
It's still bleeding.
It's still the house that's still bleeding. And it's made now, so it has nobody understands what the deal is. All right, well, we will be back with another episode shortly in the next couple of weeks. So thank you, and good night, and good fright.